Good morning, everyone. Let's try this again. This is Dylan on Dadcraft73's Java Minecraft server. And sorry for being a little bit late this morning. I'm still recovering from a cold, so had a little bit of a sleep in and a lovely little coughing session before we started. Apologies for anybody whose ears I may have just removed from their head. Microphone's a little loud this morning. Alright, so let's get right at it. Oops. I'm actually in the correct game. There we go. So yes, this is Dylan this morning. And today we will be hopefully working on putting on the roof for the library. There are a few villagers in there, and in the off hours we've actually got ourselves a golem in there, which will at least stop them spawning for a while. And then once we get everybody locked into their various slots, then they will be, then we can take care of that golem and get rid of it again. All right. Hopefully people will not be hearing too much of the background sounds today. It looks like my game just refuses to want to play into my headphones today. That's something I need to work on off camera, but order of operations and all that. Okay, so first thing we're going to need is to grab some of these bone blocks and ditch a lot of this other stuff I had going on. Let's put those in there. These are the workstations for the villagers that are currently wandering around in there and giving us little villagers. And good morning, PP Zerk, and morning, Stoner Miner. Hopefully you two are doing fairly well. Let's get just a couple more in here. I don't need fences right now. Signs. Actually, maybe we'll grab the fences just in case some of the little baby villagers that we have in there currently grow up. Then we can actually get them going. I do actually appreciate the tip, Brian, that FNT does help. It's not specifically that. It's that if I don't fire up my devices in the correct order in the morning, then my computer sound refuses, when OBS is running, to switch over to my AirPods. So if I was to actually want everything on the AirPods to play through, rather than on the computer system, then I would actually have to shut down the entire stream, OBS and everything else, and fire it back up again. So it's just not worth it at this point in time. Okay, so this is going to be kind of interesting because we're using wall blocks to stack up for the time being. I just haven't got myself organized to get, just do from the inside, to grab the bamboo I was looking for. One of those, you think you remembered everything and then turns out you missed something. Items, it's not a huge deal. Okay, so we're going to want the library arch probably to start in here. Oh, short stuff. And I'll see if I can make it one block in, actually. So at the moment I'm winging it. I do actually have a couple of tools that'll help me easily make an arch, but I figured I'd rather go a little more organic and just wing it the first time and see how that looks. But I can always tear it down. Hello? So I'm also aware that this will be very much not spawn-proof. When we're done, we'll take a look at maybe a couple of judicious spots for lighting additions on the outside. On the bright side, at least, though. Escape sounds. So because I've got OBS running, at least I can hear the game sounds through my regular speakers. Good morning, Alex. How are you this morning? All right. What we got going up here? 1, 2. There'll be a lot of hopping up and down and looking to see how it looks. So Yay. More cats. You can see we've got an iron golem. At first I'd forgotten that villagers simply socializing will get the iron golems. Stoner Miner had to help me with that, and like just a polite reminder, and I was like, oh, right. So I stopped offing getting rid of the iron golem, because good point that he'd suggested is that if they can't socialize, they won't do a golem. But if you've got a golem in here, then the game recognizes that there is one and doesn't try to put in another one. So that's key at the moment, that we don't get... Oh, no, I don't want that. The key that we don't have more golems. But I can do this if I go there. And in all honesty, I probably will end up tearing down this roof, but if we get lucky and it works. Because I'm not really liking the way I'm doing it already. And if I get too frustrated in the middle, then we will switch tracks and build ourselves an iron farm. So, you know, it never hurts to have plan C or plan D or whatever suits your fancy. Good morning, Fantastic Sherlock Fox. Hopefully your meetings aren't too annoying this morning. I understood you were in some a simulation of a crisis for your company, so that probably has you pretty busy with not a whole lot of audio going on, so I understand if you end up having to lurk. Speaking of lurking, I finally threw in a lurk command. It's nothing super exciting, but if anyone needs to use it, by all means, go right ahead. That's a little too vertical. We need to flatten that out. Just 1 second, please. There, I'm back. I see Plan Z is one that PP Zerk is always fond of. I can kind of see why. You guys have a special connection with Plan Z, right? So, ooh, block. What did I do? Okay. Yeah, definitely gonna have to flatten that out a little bit. Not liking the look of it. I also want to remember for myself that I have to keep stacking blocks at least 2 high, otherwise I'm gonna have the villagers escaping, which is more of a pain in the neck than anything else, actually. The other thing I'm realizing too is that I have to try and get them going in the correct direction, because as we can see, like if you put a bone block down and it's got that top, the sort of the marrow looking top to it, and that's not something I wanted to have in the library book, so we'll have to correct a few of the ones the other side once we figure out what the angle's going to look like. But they're a great looking block to work with, and they make a really neat little sound when you put them up. I like the little clink sound they make. Okay. Is Aragon the construction foreman? Well, being he's got a buddy now, probably not. You, my friend, are annoying me. You are both annoying me. But that's okay. So yeah, we may end up having to lock these guys in, but I'm not too bothered by it, because sometimes having the littles is actually more productive. Let's see, what have we got? 1, 2, 1. Yeah, let's try going really flat. I'm just going to try a 2 and 2 and see how things look. Actually, that might be too vertical. So I am part of the Dadcraft stream weekend happening this weekend. I'm looking forward to that quite a lot, actually. Oops. It'll be a chance to get my build on, I guess you could say. And I haven't really figured out exactly what projects we're going to be doing this weekend, but always a good chance to work with some people and have a good time. There we go. And the team on the Dadcraft Bedrock server is really a great group of people to play with. I've quite liked the amount of time I've played with them so far. I did Bedrock last season and had a blast, but just wanted to come back onto the Java server. I like to, I guess you could say, pardon me, not be super rusty in all forms of Minecraft, but also that Java's sort of where I started. So I was sort of returning to, I wouldn't say returning to my roots per se. Okay, are you? Oh, that was interesting. I wouldn't exactly say I returned to my roots, but how do we put it? I guess it used to be what I knew best, so I figured that I would go back to that. The other thing is I actually like the way some of the mechanics work. Not all of them. Definitely not all of them. And that's still going to be too vertical. 1, 2. Okay, let's go 3 on this side to go with that one. I'm super excited to also hopefully watch some of the other streamers. Unfortunately, my kids aren't going to be able to watch, which is too bad because they were kind of looking forward to it. But it's not a big deal. They actually have something more interesting to do. They got invited to go on an exploring little hike with their cub group. So since I can't make it, they're going to head up there on their own, and they'll be able to tell me all about it when they get back. But it's just one of those things where there's just never enough days in the week, never enough hours in the day to do everything you want to do. And then for those of us who do try to pull extra long hours, sometimes it backfires. If we can get a start line on this that looks half decent, we can pull it across. Slow. So 2, 3... No, 2. Let's try matching that up on the other side and see how that looks. Up. No! Thank you. Go away. You're not welcome out. Oops, I did that wrong. There, that's better. The other reason I wanted to have the blocks sideways is having a whole bunch of these little dark bits on the side as opposed to the top. Reminds me a little bit of the way a book looks if you kind of look at the edge of the pages. They're always a little bit darker while you have the book open. So it's a good place to start. Okay, 1, 2. These ones I was going to take off. For those of you who may have been counting, there are a few more librarians. I finished out 1 row, and I started a 2nd row. Strangely enough, everybody wants to give me Silk Touch and Mending like crazy, but then you get the weird ones like Lure and stuff, which are not super useful. And but I have yet to have anyone offer me so much as Protection 2, or even, I think I might have a Sharpness in there, but I don't know. I'm fairly certain it's not top end. Pardon me. And they just don't want to seem to offer anything that I'm actually looking to use. But that's their loss, not mine. There we go. And it occurred to me, honestly, that I really, like with the iron farm, I need it a little bit for trading and for hoppers and stuff, but on the whole, it's not something that I'm desperate for at the moment, so that's makes it much more pleasant because then I can fiddle with it as things go. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So 3 on the next one. one. Buy the cheapest armor and get off the enchants and put on some new ones. Yeah, that's generally what I tend to do with once I get the librarians up and running. But I mean, I will admit, I got kind of lucky because these boots down here, aside from me putting mending on them, that's what came up from my villager. I didn't have to add anything extra to it. So that was just a boon and a half. I was really impressed. I mean, the pants, you know, nothing exciting there. They came Unbreaking 2, top came Protection 2, and then I've combined 2 hats together to get Protection 3. So I've only added mending to these ones, which is quite handy. And then the Sharpness 2 and Sweeping Edge 3 is actually from my villagers, so I'm not too bothered by that. It's a good place to start. This one had most of the stuff on there. I think I just had Power 2 and Unbreaking 2. And possibly Punch 1 on there. So I did end up with a Flame Villager, so that helped a little bit. And I think I was able to combine a couple of bows. I really can't remember because I'm not even, to be honest with you, I'm not even sure if that's the same bow I had before I went to the skeleton farm, just because I am just that organized. And when I got accidentally some extra bows in my inventory, it took me a minute to figure out where they really were supposed to go, because I had stood a little too close to the villager, or not to the villager, sorry, to the actual spawning skeletons. And that's fine, but I just needed a little bit more stuff in my inventory than I really intended to. Pete's sake. There we go. I don't know if you call it cheap Dutch or not, because you guys aren't always like that. I find if you want to look at, let's just say the UK doesn't have a single line on being cheap, but they definitely have earned their reputation for some of the Irish and the Scotch being ultra cheap. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Oh, great. That's why I put that up there. 1, 2, 3. Do I want to go up higher or not? Probably not. And as to distraction, you're definitely not the only one distracted, Brian. I find that, well, one, I get very distracted when I'm doing streams. There's just a lot to think about and a lot of fun buttons to press, and as you guys had heard, I like buttons. I like lots and lots of buttons. So actually, the fantastic Sherlock Fox and I were having a chat, and we decided, yeah, it's time for me to upgrade a little bit. I've got one of the stream decks that has 6 buttons on it, which is fantastic when you only have 3 or 4 things to do, or even up to 6 things to do. But as soon as you need a second page or a third page, you have to sacrifice something on each of those pages for your directional arrows. And that works fine, but then when you're stuck with groups of 4, getting to where you need to be and remembering which button is on which page is a little more than I can manage sometimes. So we're going to be upgrading to the next stage of the Elgato Stream Deck button system, so that I can have more fun playing with things. I mean, I can do things like talking about, let's see, what do we got here? Do I have anything interesting? I don't know if this will play, but hopefully.
I've always wanted to use that spell.
Yeah, I like that one. And then if we end up with villagers that are absolutely terrible, I've got one for them.
I no longer require your services.
So hopefully I won't need to use those buttons too often. And then every once in a while there's a couple of things that happen where I've mentioned something and later on I wish I hadn't. So I've got buttons for that as well.
Shouldn't have said that.
I shouldn't have told you that. I should not have told you that.
So I had a little bit of fun putting up stuff like that. And playing around, there's going to be, for stream, I'm hoping to debut a temporary set of points that people can use just for the generic stuff like sound clips and so on and so forth, and asking me to set up straight and hydrate and that kind of jazz. When at some point eventually, if I make affiliate, I'll replace it with with the more common styles that you see in a lot of people's channels, but to begin with, I think I'm going to test out the Stream Elements version. Just more, I guess, to have fun playing with it than anything else. Okay, 1, 2, this is not working out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because I think I like it only going about this high, but I want to drag the central part a bit wider. Maybe, maybe not. Oh, yes, I do. Hello, sir. You can go away. Actually, let's put this one there. Yeah, stream points can be fun. I still have to figure out how it is that people actually use those points. I mean, I've set up a temporary one. I don't think I enabled it for today. Just give me 1 sec to find out. Because it would be helpful. Oh, you pushing me. It's not necessary, sir. You do not need to be pushing and shoving, alright? Okay. Oh, haha. I guess maybe I should actually remember to put together a function that sticks my videos in self-promotion. That's another one of those to-do items that I have done manually enough that I just forgot to do it. Okay, what do we got going? Well, technically, the points that were turned on, I do not know what they actually are going to be doing, but that's okay. If they work, they work. If they don't, they don't. It's not going to kill anybody. Let's see through the night. I don't need more golems. If they want to do it for social, that's great, but I really don't want them to be seeing zombies. Eventually there'll be proper doors on here to help with that, because we don't need a gazillion zombies. Or gazillion, sorry, golems. 1, 2. If I make this, put it down. Yeah. The other thing about points is I don't know if I've actually set all of the points levels correctly for people to be able to get them by default. Hey Neon, welcome in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, let's see if that's any better. Yeah, that actually, it'll do. It'll do. It's a bit flat, but I mean, hey, it's a book, right? What do you expect out of a book? Let's go one more time over here. Yes. Up and back down. Yep, that'll work for root. You can start pulling it across. Oh, yeah, I can't quite do that. Okay, one sec. Okay. Kind of difficult to get the ends to go the right way if I don't have something to put them on. So, I will be noting, what am I talking about? I will be hopefully watching people this weekend. We haven't had a lot of chance to discuss a theme for things to hand off, nor have we figured out how we're going to manage having everybody else except me on the Bedrock server when it comes to handoff time. We'll probably be using some Discord voice feeds like we've seen in other stream weekends. That's likely how it's going to pan out. But that's one of those things that I need to get together with the people on either side of me and just figure out what we're going to do for that one. The Java server at the moment does not have a museum of sorts for items, but that's something that I can work with people to put together in future if we have any other streamers. Otherwise, there may be a stream shrine of sorts on this one. There may be a temporary location and then a more permanent location later on. What I'm thinking about in terms of the temporary versus more permanent would be something along the lines of just putting everything up in it, like boxes in an item frame to begin with, And then once I've got a good location, then I'd move stuff to that spot. One of the thoughts I had in my foggy sleep this morning as I was starting to wake up was potentially, as I had been talking about, a large chair for Rex Stout's Nero Wolf, maybe using the backside of that as a large wall for stream item recognition or stream history, I guess. We'll have to see. That's just an idea that happened as I was sort of half asleep, so it's going to take some figuring out, but the road for these things is always a little bit bumpy till we figure out what's going on. If any of you watching either want to encourage a favorite streamer from Dadcraft's servers to join the fray, or to join the fray yourself, you are very, very welcome to do so. My convincing skills are a little on the weak side lately, so was not able to pull anybody else from the Java server this time around, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we couldn't in the future. For Java and Bedrock, one of the things that has scared off a few of the other streamers would be time zone. So although we focus it at the moment around North America based on the Eastern time zone, that doesn't mean that we have to only use those time slots. So you'll see on Sunday we've got a break at a later slot in the day, I guess, than one might otherwise. But also we've got a few people that are doing, for example, 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. Eastern time slots. That worked well for them in terms of where their sleep schedule has been shifted to because of work, or because they actually live in another part of the world. Like we have Creef, who is out of South Africa, I believe. So as you can imagine, Eastern time zone in North America isn't always convenient for him to be streaming or for him to be watching streams. It's really quite early in the morning on one end, or ridiculously late on the other end, like as in insane though. I would actually love to see Brian Stoner Miner on one of our streams. I think that would just be fantastic, and I would definitely want to watch his. I mean, he's got so many things on the go that there's a serious chance he could fill up at least half of his very first stream, if not more, with simply touring us around the things he's already built. I would love to see that, but there's also tips and tricks and things that I've learned from him that I haven't easily found anywhere else. I mean, I love research, but I can go down rabbit holes and thereby confuse myself. And as many of you who play Minecraft are well aware, that if you go looking for YouTube or information on the internet, very few, I shouldn't say very few, it's kind of disappointing the number of people posting things that don't specify which version of Minecraft it's for. And I don't mean numbers, I mean as in whether it's Bedrock or Java. It would be lovely if they did, but that's not to be. So it's easy to get oneself in a hole and discover that whatever the build is you're looking at turns out to be based on a mechanic that's more prevalent in Bedrock, or based on a mechanic that you can only get in Java. So that would be tough. Listen, Neon Traveler says, I suggested those on Java or Moda be sure to use something that is available in Bedrock, and I have it recreated in Bedrock for Museum and put Java or Mod after it so it's known where it came from. Yeah, for example, yeah, like that's something that's going to be fairly straightforward. I'm not thinking of too many items off the top of my head that don't exist in the other world, nor am I thinking of things that would be only obtainable via like creative mode, unless you're in a particular version. I mean, that would be frankly silly. So we don't need to be doing anything super silly. But yeah, so that's one of my ideas then, of course, is to, as I said, was to put it on the back of the chair locally. But I mean, if I can get more people to be doing Bedrock, so if Brian wants to hop on board and we have ourselves a proper museum for it, then obviously the items would belong there instead. Although I may still end up doing something at my base, sort of a self-celebration of taking part in these things, and that would be would be partly because streaming is something a little bit out of my comfort zone every single day, and so having a celebration of that would be cool, which means then that even if the objects ended up in a museum somewhere, I'd probably go along with something like a sign I could sign in a frame or something just to emphasize it and make it look cool. And just have dates on there as to what the streams were that I participated in. Yeah, so we'll have to figure out what sorts of items we're doing. I mean, it's not critical as long as whatever I choose to pass on gets notified. And I want to at least tell the person following me so that if I go to pass something on to them, they've got a version of it that they can pretend was passed on. Alright. We will find out fairly soon just how much lighting I've missed in here. I don't think we have too much problem because there's a few lights spread around. It's not exactly torch spam per se, but it should do. And if not, then we'll figure out how to de-zombify some villagers. I mean, I know the basics of it, I've just never done it. And I don't intend to if I can avoid it. Alright. PP Zerk's got a dragon egg. Ooh! I think that would be... Stone Reminder's got a great museum piece, and PP Zerk's got the dragon egg, so it sounds like we have some very, very cool suggestions. Let's see. Stone Reminder saved the very first farm shulker shell. Actually, that might be a super cool one. Maybe use that one in February for your own piece. Because that's definitely something you've put a lot of work into and had some very lovely outcomes to that, so that we can have our own version on the Java server of Ross's shulker monsters, right? Maybe we're not quite as far as needing to do shulker art per se, but that would be a little bit of an excessive splash of bling around here. Yeah. That might help if I actually bring a bed next time. That's okay. Ow, actually it's late enough. I don't really want to get shot off the roof. That's not in my cards. Ooh. You could do if you looked at your little house. Oh, yes. I saw the note the other day that was left in Discord for me. Just letting everybody know that since we have a productive shulker farm, we have shulkers galore that just show up courtesy of, what is it this time? The Good Luck Leprechaun, or is it the Easter Bunny? Wow. Thank you very much, Brian. That's awesome. Hehe. And one of the only times you'll ever see shulkers containing shulkers. Okay, so shulker shell box goes in there. Actually, let's take this red bed. Then they won't be connecting to it, and I can use it on the roof. The door. Yeah, ZZ Zerk has been doing a lot to help us out. He's been spending a good amount of AFK time and helping spot a few of the spots where something was minorly missed and things. Ooh, that looks cool from the inside. Actually, I like that. Was minorly missed, and where people did not remember to get a button or something on there to make it non-spawnable. You know, I really would like it if in some future version, bone blocks could do something else. And once you make it into a block, I don't see why you couldn't make stairs or something out of it. That would be insane. I mean, I'll even take slabs, you know, and then that'd be kind of neat if you had slabs, and then the one side of them had, like, where it looks like it was split down the middle, so it's darker with some border. That would sort of like you split your bone open to get the marrow. I think that would look really neat, but there's a bazillion different things. I mean, that's one of those things too. We could always add, if I needed to, I could always add a mod that allows me to put in custom pieces like that. And then I would just contact our favorite local skinner, or pardon me, texture maker. Straight. But yeah. I keep saying off camera I'm going to go find a bamboo, and I just haven't bothered because I go, oh, this project in, oh, that project in, etc. Okay, how far do we go? Roughly in line with the torches, that helps. Okay. In future, I may be switching out part of the roof, now that I've got a rough sort of mental picture of how much space we're going to have, and then putting in, either putting in some wool blocks or putting in, like putting a few carpets across the top, not to make it non-spawnable, but to actually decide what, if it's going to say anything on there, because I think that'd be kind of neat to have something that you couldn't necessarily see from the inside, but that people who are flying by an elytra could see, or someone who decided to climb up really high. Okay. Yeah, so that one goes 2 more. Enjoy your lurk, Neon. Hopefully the fog isn't too thick. So you discovered the minecart disappeared. Yeah. I still have to take a trip there, just to see what it's all about. Because, I mean, there's a lot of things that I've heard about, but have never actually tried, or, that's not the word, visited, I guess, to see in person. Oh, one more. Where's that go? Up, up. Oh, more up there. Didn't look quite right. And 2. 1 on there, and 1 on this side. Okay, so we're missing a block. Which level did I miss a block on? This one. Alright. So I've got enough started there, I can probably start the other side. So I might as well just finish this one off. Alex made a complete path to the farm. Well, yeah, thank you very much to those that are bridging out. As I may have mentioned in the past a bazillion times, I do not fly. Partly on principle, and partly just skill. Lag or no lag, even when it's fresh. The only time I've ever worn wings, I crashed and burned into lava, and that was the end of the wings. So, yeah, not high on my list. You know, people say trait and creative. It's one of those, it's on the list. There's a lot of things on the list. So you'll have seen in chat there that we've just got the list of what I like to call the bedrockers, and or the dad rockers. Sorry, like it sounds like a music band, I guess. And that's the list of people who are intending to join us this weekend for streaming. Congratulations to the Dynamites. I know they're not in chat right now, but they had a stream that I came in the very end of yesterday, and it was eminently watchable, which was a nice relief for them because they'd been having some technical issues earlier in the week and during their test streams, and we're starting to wonder whether or not they should even bother on the weekend. So I'm really quite pleased to know that last night's stream worked out and was very watchable. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. We have a couple others listed there, like Vexalta, for example, has just had stuff come up in her life that had prevented her from being able to join us this weekend, but we're hoping that she'll be able to join us or that they will be able to join us at a future point. And do that sort of thing. Up and down and up. At the time, I thought it was a very wise decision to put in all the fencing ahead of the roof, and now I'm thinking that was not necessarily the smartest plan, but I can also just jump up on the roof and do it from the top side. Hello? No, you can't have these. Sorry. No go. Yes, I know. Okay, where is it? 2. Yes, you need, oh. I keep forgetting that if I've got the villager with the right stuff, or the right trade, that I'm attracting them by putting things, or sort of holding things in my hand. So if I don't want them to get out, I can't be holding the wool. Here we go. Wow. I really do need to break up some of those commands. Early on when I was trying to get my commands auto-firing, I actually had a horrible time. They just wouldn't seem to fire, and it didn't occur to me till this week that it actually had to do with the number of people, number of lines of chat in the screen. And of course, they're not going to fire off when I'm the only one here. It doesn't happen. You know, you can't force it. So we'll just take a look at it. If it becomes too onerous or too much of a wall, then we'll break it up and cool down the timers and so on. Wow, actually that's come together kind of nicely. Maybe we'll do half on stream today and then switch topics. I'm enjoying it now that I've got a line that I can work with. So, what sorts of things would people in chat be looking forward to seeing from any of the streamers this weekend? Is there any particularly exciting piece for you, or is there anything, I guess, different that you would like to start seeing from some of them? Because one of the things I like about the stream weekends is when we get people showing up, they can have a bit of an influence on the direction the streams go from here. But also stream weekends can be a bit more of a different animal, just because there's a bit of a train following in that may or may not return on a regular basis. And that's fine, you know, like to each their own, everybody does their own thing. Like, for example, I know some of the streamers are not as interested in my Whatever Wednesdays, where I'm not doing Minecraft, I'm doing whatever else other than Minecraft. And, oh, I just blew that. That was wrong. Tinkering and trying things is great to figure out everything. Okay. Now let's keep it simple. Keep it simple. Yeah. So what I'm actually going to do is do an experiment by actually building my iron farm. For, I guess, not for anything other than really lore sake, and I just don't like the look of iron farms in the sky. I'm just not a fan of sky farms generally. I understand why people do them, but I'm not a fan of them. So as part of that, I'm just going to give it a try and see if I can actually get one with half decent rates by not putting it up in the sky, I guess you could say. And, well, and if I don't get any golems spawning or don't get any good rates, then I'm going to assume at that point I've just got far too much spaghetti stuff going on underneath, which means we may take a more exciting run in the next week or so to start blocking things out. That's not what I meant. What's the word? Lighting things up underneath the base. So, something I should have done a while ago, but I haven't bothered yet. You know, guys, I really don't like walking over your faces. I mean, it is tempting, just for amusement's sake, to, you know, come and jump on you. But it doesn't look that great. That's true, except when the redstone's inverted and you can't find out how and where. Yeah. Redstone. About that. Redstone's another one of those pieces that I've only done a couple of times. Last season that I spent on Java, so I don't really know how to quantify that because, pardon me, because Bedrock and Java seasons were completely out of whack. But last season when I was on Java, before I jumped over, I decided I was going to force myself to learn Redstone, and didn't learn much, but learned something repeatable, and I built a very large and over-engineered mailbox post office, which, it's great, it works. I actually had a little bit of help figuring out a couple of things that were causing me some headaches, but, so, special shout out to not present Farming Queen Jules for helping me out with that. But in any case, Kavabunga. In any case, I built that very large one, which is fine. I just when I moved over to Bedrock and it was done a little bit more classically with basically just a chest and a redstone light because everybody's nice and friendly, then over-engineering things with, in essence, a quasi-secure drop. I mean, it wasn't foolproof because, well, I just don't do foolproof. Sometimes I am a fool. And so I decided I wasn't going to build something that big again without need. It was fun. I learned a lot about secure drop boxes and stuff. But when one doesn't prank people via their mailboxes, it's not necessary. So yeah. Jumping on the beds. Yeah, but I did learn a lot about how it works when you want to build an item filter and stuff like that, but not enough that I actually was able to transfer it to other skills, but that's okay. You know, I will at some point build it again in my single player worlds. Actually, I think I may have the world download for that. Just A, to have it, but B, it's always a nice reference to be able to go back and muck about and saying if I had done X or Y a little bit differently. Last season, both on Bedrock and on Java, was a big one for me in terms of heights. I do not like heights. I do not do heights very well at all. I really hate falling from them. That's another one. And so I will not be building super large items this year. The mailbox wasn't too bad. Like, the post office wasn't too bad. Neither was the sign on the top of the post box. But I built a very, very large flower last season, and it made me quite nauseous a few times, which was not great. And I actually... what's the word? I fell off a couple of times. Didn't die, thankfully, because very nice people had at that time gifted me some feather falling boots that were better than anything I'd had before that. I'm losing my ability to speak this morning. Wow. So I didn't fall off, but had a few surprises, and creepers blew me off the side, and trying to figure out the large flower petals on the fly was interesting because I didn't know exactly what I wanted, so I spent an awful lot more time up there than I really would have wanted to long term. A lot of going up and coming down, going up and coming down. You know, repetitive work and all that. Let's see. Yeah. No, I can't stick one to your face. I know. I'm also aware that we're limiting where the golems can walk. I get that too. Let's see what we've got. That's half. Okay, before I worry too much about cleanup, turn back here and see what... Oh, you can't see it from here. Well, that's not bad, actually. Yeah, that'll do. So it's going to need some lighting up and carpets and stuff on the roof, but for now, that's actually not bad. Ready. Actually, let's see what we got going. Are you guys down here going to be... Oh, I do have some sweeping edge and feather falling. Nice. What are you? You're just okay, I haven't rolled you yet then. Do you want a job? You look like you need a job. Okay. I have 13, that ought to do it. Oh, come on. There we go. And I don't have any there. Alright, let's get you a job. Because the fewer I have running around loose, the better. Oops. Bookshelf guy, where are you? Okay, good. Need a bookshelf, sir. Okay, so let's make this into... Here we go. Need a lectern. 5 bowl. Touchy. It's gonna be... We'll get the other ones in a second. We're gonna do that. And then this. And let's force him down there, so let's block that off. Not enough. Oh, you happen to be here, sir. I will take one of these from you. Thank you. We can get the wool down faster. Hello, kitty. Okay. Now the beds are a problem. Fantastic. Won't be forever. Or not. Wool is cheap. If it despawns, it's not a big deal. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Are you on? Nope, you're not on this side yet. Okay, so need to go block off the other edge. Let's go. Come on, buddy. Move, move, move. Yes, I know. You can't get anywhere. Ha ha ha. Okay. We'll make it probably this gentleman a librarian instead then, because that's just the way I roll. Whoa. Don't. You can go that way, because we want you not to be leaving. Where are you? I want you over there. Okay. Aha. There. Please back up, sir. Thank you. There. Now I can take... I'm gonna have to leave that one there. Forgot to grab a bed. Excuse me, sir. Actually, let's take one of these. They're going to be in the way. Sorry. Can you move, please? Thank you. There we go. Now I don't need to cover your face. Do I have... There, I got trapdoors. Excellent. So I can mark you. Oh, come on. Trapdoors being a pain. It's funny, some days you can get them on the first try, and other days it takes forever. But there's a reason I want it to go that direction. No, not that. Fine, let's try this one. Today you won't like me. Okay, well then, rather than fussing with that, I'll just do it this way. That'll do. My pattern for the roof... Oh, sorry. I have to just figure out... What did we miss here? Scroll back. Will the pattern for the roof work and leave space for the beds above the villagers? No, actually, I don't believe it will. That's one of those things that I remembered the other day that I should have done it differently for that very reason. It does in most of the spaces. That's part of why I wanted to come down here in the center, because it, I mean, you lose a little bit of the look of the doorway, but it comes down the center here, then there's room for the bed up on this level. But I think on these last ones, I may actually have to push it up just to leave room for the bed up top. Another option, actually, which I have done in the past, is just to pull up both of the floorboards down there and put the bed underneath, and then chase the villager in on top. So both will equally work, and I might do that on the ends. So switching these guys will be a bit of a pain, but it's doable. And I'll try a test run with one of them shoved into a corner before I decide if I'm going to re-roof that portion. Let's see. For a trading hall, you don't need any beds. Yeah, well, technically you don't, but I always find, just my luck, I suppose, that it seems to be sometimes the villagers will actually reset faster if they've had a chance to sleep. It's probably my imagination. It's probably not real, but that's just the way the impressionists seem to work for me. So if I make them happy, I guess you could say, that they do tend to reset faster for me. I'm just taking a quick detour to grab a few more melons so that I can grab a bit more of the emeralds and get another bookshelf for the villagers to make another library. Let's see if I can pin in a couple more. Okay, good. I'm getting the melons. Excellent. For a second there, I thought I had my fortune axe, which doesn't have mending on purpose, just because that was what it traded at. But it's not a whole lot of point in me mending that if I'm not going to be using it 6 ways Tuesday. Sir, are you going to give me some emeralds? 14 will do. I'll take that. Thank you very much. Yeah, I do leave the beds. I mean, it isn't a convenient cap. But this gent in the corner definitely will need something else, so... It's one of the things about designing sort of as you go on the fly, that mistakes get made and things need to get adjusted. Okay, I was looking for slabs to start. Oh, right, bookshelf. Can't make a lectern without a bookshelf. Hello. 1. Thank you. Oh, that's an interesting theory, Neon. I'm not sure how one would test that. I mean, I guess you could try it in creative and just see, but nitwits. So far, I've been lucky enough not to have one. But they may have to go on a permanent vacation if I do find one. I mean, on the other hand, if you just need them to socialize in order to get golems, then another option I might have is just to bait the nitwits out and use them as my iron farm fodder. Because the only thing I ever really use my iron farm for is like iron, of course, and then what am I missing? Oh, duh. Sorry, the only thing I use the iron farm tends to be for villagers to breed, and yeah, actually that's probably about it. Breed and make iron, that's about all they need to do. Yeah, Java has some simple scale iron farms. I guess it's one way of looking at it. Like last season, I used a design from Avamance where he talked about putting the iron. Oh, you're faster than I expected, bud. That's not helpful. Go, 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 go. No, we want to block this here. So I used one designed by Avamance where it ended up being basically a 3x3 slot, like with a building around it, of course, with a zombie in the middle. Actually, maybe it was more than that. 5x5, I think it was. With zombie in the middle, and then the villagers all around it. They had some workstations, and they had beds, and you could actually have them scared all the time. But it turned out that with that design at the time, if you didn't periodically allow the villagers to sleep, then eventually they would just stop spawning golems. It's kind of like they would get used to the situation. So what I ended up putting on there was a sky sensor, or the light sensors, and had it run a series of trapdoors, so that when it got to be nighttime and you actually wanted the villagers to sleep, then it would close it down, because I was getting high enough iron rates during the day that I didn't really care if it wasn't functioning at night, and then that way the villagers could sleep and reset, and then I'd have higher ones during the day. And then the golems would spawn on the roof of that unit and around it, so that we wouldn't get golems spawning. That was where Avamance had designed in the iron farms not the iron farms, sorry, the food vegetable farms. And it was one of those self-feeding farms where you have villagers that pick the food and then toss it to another villager who won't actually get it because it gets sucked away by a minecart. And this was a dumb idea, actually. He's not ready for that. Now this will be interesting. Can I made a boo-boo. That's okay. Oh, I don't want to reset my spawn point. I want this and that. There, now you can't jump on that. Because otherwise you jump up on the lectern and you're out of here. That's not what we want. Let's go get a bed. So yeah, it actually made it really fairly noob friendly to build an iron farm like that. There we go. This one, and let's take out that. So yeah, I had that iron farm, and it was actually relatively productive, so I was quite pleased with it. And then I manually took the red flowers and turned them into bone meal. But this season, I thought about doing an automatic format of the bone meal. That would actually be a good idea, just so it's a little bit less hands-on. But I've ended up with trouble minimizing the difficulty of the sorter system. Just couldn't get it to work in the space I wanted, so that's not ideal, but happens. No, thank you. I may take another stab at it, but it's not critical. I mean, a run every once in a while just to clean out the flowers so there's more room for iron is really all it takes. And if I'm not using the iron heavily, then that's fine. But one of the things I like about it is the style of farms that you have in the bedrock ones. I should have remembered that Java had the the socialization version where they just need to chit chat to each other and be able to have golems, because that version of the Bedrock farms would also work here. And also the large spawning platform for golems with water shouting them to the center and stuff like that is, drop shoots and all that. That is still very viable in Java. I just figure it's a lot more work than I need, a lot more space taken up than I need. Alrighty, so got that row finished. So I decided to take out one. I was going to have 10 villagers all the way, then I realized I didn't have any walking paths. So I thought about leaving it down to 9, or from 8, and just not having the end ones. But I figured that was not going to make me feel... I felt claustrophobic running around in here. Not extremely so, but enough in the game I wasn't comfortable with it, so I decided to make it a little bit wider and pull everybody back. So these guys are offset from the other ones, but they're matched up on this side, so they'll be able to see straight across. Oh, great. Actually, at the rate we're going, I'm maybe going to take another run at the second round of the roof and see what we're going to do about these beds. And then save the iron farm for Saturday. Just because that way I can grab the materials, pick out the spot, possibly even take a run underneath and just see how solid it is. Because that's really the key, is if we get these golems spawning in the caves underneath, then the game thinks they're there and I don't get them in the farm where I want them. But yeah, so in Java Iron Farms too, when you got simple scare ones going on, then you can actually have a spawn space. I think the smallest one I've seen that I liked, at least, was a 2x3 space. So they were able to spawn it on top of a little blob that was two slots wide by 3 slots long, and then you had a lot of water at one end and lava at the other end. One of the perks that I ran into in Bedrock that I have not yet sort of decided what I'm going to do about in Java was in Bedrock, because I had the larger tray for the iron farm, and then I did a lot of my killing with campfires at the bottom rather than a lava. Then I had drops from cats as well, and this time cats don't tend to spawn on the roof with the golems and the water and all that mess. So for the amount of string I'm going to need, I could just take them out manually. It's not a big deal. Kitty clobbering is fun, but you gotta catch them. And this one is not high. Yeah. Chasing them is just sort of a waste of your time, really. Okay. So what do we have? I guess I can't figure it out from the inside. That's as low as that's gonna go. Alright, so 2 across, and then the next one was 3. The trick is to get them to spawn on top of the villagers. Yeah. Are you referring to the golems, Ryan, or are you referring to the kitty cats? Golems, yeah. At least before we switched to 1.18, I haven't done a test in 1.18 yet, but before we switched, I actually didn't have too much trouble getting them to spawn on top of the villagers, but that was provided that I had enough going on elsewhere in the village that it wasn't interesting or wasn't needing it to spawn golems. I will admit the last one on Java, I did not pen in all the villagers in my quote-unquote farms. I just let them run wild. And so that allowed me to have golems spawning in the village as well, which, has its defense perks, and that's why I left them. But I don't think I'm going to do that this time because once you get everybody penned in, you have less reason to need to defend anything of any sort anyway. Hole in the roof? Sure. Why not? Where did I put those? Oh, you've got a 6x6 small setup. I was going to try and see if I could skip the scare tactic version this time. Try a social and just see what happens. Rates aren't exactly something that I'm too concerned about. Having iron for when I do things for stream is handy, but even if I have to AFK when I'm not on stream, then that's okay. It's actually kind of fun to see how many different versions people have. I got a kick out of a series, I'm trying to remember who did it, but there was a series of iron farms hidden in other structures type of thing that one of the creators had made. And they had them hidden in all sorts of silly things, from, I think they had a fire truck to an ice cream truck at one point. And that looked kind of cute. They had an ambulance. I mean, it was just a redecorating of the same design over and over and over again. With the iron farm, it wasn't truly hidden, it was sort of built on the roof, I guess you'd say, of this thing. So when you were looking at it from the ground, it didn't look that bad. Okay, and one down here. I'm trying to remember if it was, I think the first round was 2, and then we had, I think I did this wrong again. How did I get out on that side? 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Oh, right. I wanted it. Okay. So 2 is right. And then how many go? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One of the things I love about playing with people on servers like this is when you end up with a very avid player, like Brian. He can actually be quite a ways ahead. So when he says, yeah, you know, I've got a design of X or Y, then, 7, 8, 9, then he's usually already built it. And he says, yeah, go check it out, which helps. You know, like I can do tours. Okay, and then there's 3 on that side. 2, 3. And then I had 2 right where the beds were, so I'll have to leave that open for now. Yeah. Okay. Let's find the hole in the roof, get the other side built. So I'm going to try and get some tours done of some of the other people's stuff builds at some point, but it's almost going to be a bit of a gag long term. It's in the list. Everything is in the list. So I have a mondo huge list of things to get around to. Except 1, up 2, yeah, 2 and then 9, okay. Four, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 6. Counting with Delenn. 1, 8. 9. Here we go. Okay. Mr. Column, you won't be able to be there for very long. Hi. You gonna have a staring contest? Oh, you blinked. So we've got... I'm kind of curious what people would rather see. Would they rather see... after we've got the iron farm coming in next, but would people rather see the large magnifying glass next or the large chair? Because I keep talking about both, but I haven't really got a plan for which one to do next. It makes a difference as to whether or not we end up with some gathering and smelting of glass, or whether I'm running around trying to find terracotta. Just one of those things that you can leave in chat or find me and let me know what your style is. Because definitely that'll be getting done on stream. Yeah. Ooh, did I do it too long? Boo-boo. Where do I have a mistake? Oh no. 2. Is it 2 on this side? It's supposed to be 2 on that side. Okay. 2 for the length of the bed. And 1, 2, that should be 3, okay. This one's wrong. Which means this one's wrong as well. Excited for both, but love the chair idea and have the back wall be for display. Okay, so that'll probably come first then. And I need to find myself a good spot to be picking up some terracotta. Not a problem. A bit more exploration is always in order. So I probably have to do a little bit of research as well to see if I can find any good screen caps of some of the sets, maybe from A&E's interpretation of Nero Wolf, because they did a good job with their production. Oops. And yeah, his chair is really big. I can't remember whether they actually said in the production how big he is, but I've heard it measured, depending on who you're talking to, I've heard it measured in stone for Nero Wolf's weight. I've also heard it measured in hundreds of pounds, which we're talking like 7. So he's a hefty gent, all right. And where was I? So that he needs definitely a very big chair, and usually with a big desk. But the other thing that really stands out with that character is that he likes orchids and orchid farming. But I couldn't really see a good way to make that work well for my particular play style. Doesn't mean it can't be done, but orchid greenhouses and stuff are kind of a dime a dozen in Minecraft. I have to go find the orchid, which is not, I mean, that's the last piece. But once we've done a book like this, a greenhouse would probably be somewhat similar. So we'll have to see where we go with it. And I'm still looking for ideas on trying to figure out how to do Poirot's mustache design or some other element that references him and his little gray cells, because that one's just proving to be a little bit confusing at the moment. And my kids suggested I try and make yarn balls for Miss Marple, which would be large and spherical, but definitely something new, and I don't know how exciting they would be for me to build. So we'll see what comes out of it. But chairs it is. That works. Thank you, PP Zerk. If any other thoughts have occur to anybody, or you would like to see something different, please do speak up and let me know. Otherwise, that's probably a good route to go with. You were on the... Why am I wandering around aimlessly? I can probably do... That worked. one more. There we go. Oh, no, I don't need it that low. Not in here. This is the inside. Okay, let's try one of the experiments. Corners, are you easy to put back? Actually, just thinking that might not be a great idea for me to put the beds underneath because, one, the librarians couldn't sleep in them, and two, even if they could sleep in them, they might be likely to pop out of them outside their little hole in the morning. So I have to think of another plan on that one. Maybe a new look at the direction of the roof. So that's going to take a little bit of consideration here. Let's get back to the other part of it then. If I can't do that part, move on to something else. Because, yeah, beds look great for now, but they don't work on the ends. Alright. Villagers. Reset at night and noon. I may have to test that. Oh, too far. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, too far. There we go. Hello. Bone block? Nope, not high enough. Whatever. It's funny when they keep walking in front of me and I keep clicking into their heads. Because since there's plenty of places for them to be, but standing right on top of me is probably not somewhere they need to be. And of course, once I get the roof on, these beds will be in the way and I won't be able to move them. Or I won't be able to move into the slots behind them all that easily. No, not there. Two, three. Okay. What are we going to do? Truth is, I only need you penned in enough that you can't run off. Okay. No, it's done. Enter infinity. Done. Go away, please. Okay, let's go. Take this one out. I'm gonna try this guy bedless, because I don't use infinity that often anyways, and just see how that goes. No, you can't be here. You're not going anywhere, bud. Oh, that's gonna be a problem for me. There we go. And there's a sign in the way. Haha. Okay, well, I'll put signs up later. Alright. Bed, please. Thank you. Okay, 1, 2. This and that. And And up there. Close it off. Yeah, you'll be alright. You'll do. You were... I don't need that right now. Let's try this. Infinity. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I think that'll do. This guy, you'll have some... You might actually have space to jump. Does anybody remember whether or not villagers can jump out if there's a sign in there? Because I'm thinking if I put the block in, it's only going to be one block across, not two. Over their heads, and so there'll be a block over them. Which I guess that's all I need really is the block over them, so it should be fine. Oh no, he'll have two. Okay. It'll work, never mind. Crisis averted. Okay. Bookshelf and looting. Bookshelf and looting. There we go. I have to remember to keep talking out loud. It's not... It feels weird. It really does. Okay, mending man. Excuse me just a sec, I do have to cough. Where did I put... There we go. I'm amazing at talking to you. You guys are doing very well putting up with a lot of my silences in between when I'm thinking about something. Though it does help that I remembered today to actually switch the game sounds. Last couple of streams I noticed after I had finished streaming that I had completely and utterly forgotten to turn the game sounds on in, like as in I was hearing them, but you guys weren't. That's what I may have mentioned in Discord was that I've got it such that I've got the sounds from the game go out to a virtual cable, and then from there they go into OBS and I can hear it. But when I'm not playing, the virtual cable of course doesn't make the sounds, like as in I don't have anything receiving the other end of that, so I don't hear the game sounds. And that's not the way I like to play. So I need to get that sorted out, and that way I won't have one more step to remember when I'm setting up to be able to do a stream. But, you know, it's one of those not super critical things, but by not having to remember about that, then I would have remembered to connect the headphones before I turned on OBS and avoid the other headache. So, you know, 6 of one, half dozen the other when it comes down to it. But it also helps when people talk to me. Not that you guys aren't doing a good job of that. You're more than good at that. But it helps when I can do that and actually see what people have to say in chat, because I actually have something to respond to. I mean, you guys have heard me long enough and know me well enough that most of the time I won't be bothering to repeat, you know, who I am, what I do, why I'm able to do this during the day. But I'll save a lot of that for the stream weekend, because of course there could be some people that don't know me that well, and that way they don't have to, or you guys don't have to hear it repetitive 6,000 times every single stream, because there's nothing new, right? Okay. I don't even remember who this guy was. I just took it down. Mending, right, okay. Probably not the world's cheapest mending either, but it does the trick. Who are you? You are a Silk Touch Man. I do find it interesting that these guys look very male, which is interesting. I guess that the way that we're often brought up to think of the way various genders look, these look like guys, or what I would expect to be a guy. But I think a lot of that is just because in our... Hey, Captain Caveman. So no game sounds are good with him because he plays Ed, the game, for almost 6 months before his sister-in-law had him turn the sounds on. Yeah, I mean, the same sort of way that you guys are hearing Pretzel Rocks, hopefully. And if it's ever too loud or whatever, let me know, because I have a separate feed as a monitor for that, but I don't actually listen to music while I play. Ooh. No, this is Pretzel Rocks. I was starting to type that. Right. Silk Touch. So I have a monitor feed I use just to see if the song is, okay, if it's not, inappropriate lyrics or something screamy. Yeah, I think Captain Caveman, thank you for your follow. I noticed you followed it just after stream the other day, and I missed your follow come in live, which is kind of too bad. I apologize for that. But it's good to see you aboard, and glad to see you here, even if you choose to lurk. That's always a perfectly viable option. Okay, what am I going to do? Sure, pumpkins will work. No, I don't want your head. I want the... There we go. No. See, I make a mistake and I forget something, and you decide that you're going to go walkabout. Go. You need to walk about a little further, bud. Uh-oh. Okay, go away. Back up. Back up. Thank you. That'll do. Alright, so, yeah, so I don't even play with much in the way of sounds, and that's part of it was I didn't even notice that I hadn't turned things on properly. So if there's ever something notable, then I'm hoping that the kind souls here will clue me in. There it is. And, well, if you're the unkind soul variety that doesn't clue me in, that's okay. You just get stuck with what sounds you get. Ooh. Right there. Oh, another kitty cat. Oh, no, it's the same one from earlier. Okay. What was I looking for? I was looking for the wool. As I have gone and stacked myself up with nothing. That's fantastic. 16 melons, yes, that will do. One playing, and all lurkers are fantastic. Yeah, lurkers are amazing, because you never know when you're going to find something that really piques their interest. And if they just lurk and have you on as the won't background noise like a Charlie Brown teacher, that's fine by me. As I'm going to be here playing anyways, then they can play or not play or listen or not listen. That's totally up to them, and no skin off anybody's nose there. Besides, as one person put it to me recently, it could be worse. And what I mean by... What are you? Oh, Aquafindi. It could be worse. So what I mean by that is... Affinity. Is that, you could always have it going the other way, where instead of having people lurking and hanging out being nice in your stream, we could actually have hate raids going on, and I'm spoiled by not having to worry about that at the moment. So, one of those beggars can't be choosers kind of things, or looking a gift horse in the mouth, and there's a bazillion other phrases one can use. Alright. Let's just do signs later. That's probably easier, rather than back and forth and back and forth. Hey Stormy Owl, welcome aboard. Glad to see you. yeah, hate raiders, follow bots, and the similar ilk can take a hike as far as I'm concerned. Thankfully I haven't had any yet, but that's one of the rabbit holes I fell down this week, was just exploring that sort of thing, just in case, because it's not necessarily forewarned is forearmed or any of that jazz. It's more that if I have a rough idea that I know what to do about something, then when it happens, I'm less likely to panic. Because panic is overrated, in short. And nobody needs to feel that way. So, yeah. Panic is definitely overrated. Besides, I mean, a lot of people make it sound like it's something that happens. You're on stream, or you have an account and you've streamed for like less than an hour, and people are going to jump in and crush you. That's not the way it works. You know, there's all kinds of scare stories out there, and sometimes I think people who actually tell these stories sometimes are out there just to try and scare new streamers. And every once in a while, you gotta wonder if it's just someone who can't handle having other people streaming the same material they are, and warding off the competition. And if I ever considered myself an actual competition to a real streamer, I would need to give my head a shake, because that's definitely not the case. But I'm okay with that. I'm here to help. Yeah, I don't think I've ever had a panic attack when I've been playing a game or on stream, other than something legit like the a mob's ganged up on you or some such. I'm on fire kind of stuff happens. It does. But you won't hear the Delenn equivalent of "Save me, Biggie, save me!" It just doesn't happen, and please don't clip that, because I would be embarrassed and a half. But those sorts of things aren't my style. I mean, if I do something dumb, I got myself into it. So, I better get myself out of it. That's really what it boils down to. While I'm here, let's get yours as well. Aha. Of course, that only works one way. Okay. And it's bedtime. That one I might have to do from the outside. Let's try and sleep this off and see what happens. Okay, 6:01, too early. It's funny how the daytime works here if I'm using the 12-hour clock, because sometimes it lets me do it just after 6 in the evening in the sunset. Other times it makes you wait till like about 6:35. And I never did quite understand the logic on why it has different values. It's not a big deal. I've just had a couple of times where I'm waiting for the clock to tick over and a creeper decides to visit. So, yeah. Sometimes not high on my list. Who are you? Who are you? What do you sell? Knockback 2. Yeah, it'll do. Okay, for 10. Yeah, done. Clip for posterity, says Neon. Well, if it wasn't you, it was probably going to be Zerk, so hey, it's all good. Flame. The moment you say don't do something, it's precisely when people do that, right? Like if I was to say don't think of pink elephants, then there's probably quite a number of you that just did. So I mean, one of my favorite quotes from Ghostbusters, the original, is when the Ghostbusters are trying to tell each other, don't think of anything, because the other side, what was her name? Zool, was going to manifest as whatever that person thought of, and so she'll say, don't think of anything, don't think of anything. Well, unfortunately, that's not what happened, so hence the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, courtesy of Ray. Thank you, Ray. But, no, that wasn't that. Whatever. Not fire as. Or aspect 2, that's what I want to know. So trying to think of the most innocuous thing possible. I mean, if I was to think of something innocuous for Minecraft, it would probably be a rabbit, I think. I didn't even know I could do that. Okay. Yeah, it would probably be a rabbit, just because I find them, for the most part, useless. I mean, the pelts work in a pinch, but you have to do an awful lot more rabbit killing than absolutely minimal in order to get what you need. Okay, we are definitely getting cats. Cats, 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 and more cats. It's gotta be our third or fourth one, at least. Actually, probably fourth. And I think the golems have figured out that they're not going to be able to go much of anywhere. And you, sir, were selling? What were you selling? Feather Falling 4, right, my favorite boot enchant. Feather Falling 4. That actually, oh, that fits, good. And you, sir, were selling Sweeping Edge 3. Okay. Cats are good creeper protection. Yeah, I'm going to just leave those guys alone because, as you say, they are... What did I do? Oh. They are good creeper protection, and they're harmless, but they're also small enough that they don't cause problems in terms of being able to access things. They don't get in your way, trip you up, or block you or push you around. That's my big complaint with the golems wandering around, is more that they're pushy. And if you accidentally hit a golem, then, you know, a cat will run away, but if you hit a golem, yeah, you're gonna have a bit of a headache, I guess. Yeah, I don't like golems for that reason. Just really do not like them. There, that's actually looking pretty nice. So we're gonna have to light it up a little bit better. I think I'd eventually like to take out the torches, and once I've got the iron farm, maybe hang a few of like a few chains with little iron lanterns hanging down off the bottom. With the theme, I think the orange light probably works fairly well with a standard lantern. It's probably not worth going with the blue with the sulfur. I'm not sure it would really fit the sort of decor that we've got going on in here. So yeah, I could make the floor completely and utterly spawn-proof, but I think once I've got everybody trapped so that they can't really converse, then I'm going to try taking out the iron golems and just see if they come back. Because if they don't, then I'll just leave it as is. Oh, right, more blocks. Blocks. So as we're winding down, I'm not going to cut and run early, but for those of you that haven't... down here. Oh, too many beds. That's what it is. For those of you that haven't had the chance to see it, I'll put up the graphic for the stream weekend so that everybody can have a look. And you see there's a bunch of names on there. We've got Shinigami is one I'm looking forward to seeing because I haven't had a chance before. Listed as Dub Dynamite, but it's going to be Dub and Mrs. Dynamite together. And so they're looking forward to that one. Then they're the ones that follow into myself at 3 p.m. Eastern. And then we've got CGRV Williams coming up after that, who is a fantastic one to watch, nice and soothing. Looking forward to seeing the work of Huge Stormy Owl. Always a treat to watch her. And sorry, I just spotted Neon's comment about Dumbo elephants popped into his head. Then Swanky Potatoes coming on after that. Then we've got a wonderful follow on from Creef, a couple of tasters of ITT Tom, and then Swanky's back again. And Stormy Owl's got herself a second slot on Sunday, and wrapped up by CJRV Williams. It's going to be a great weekend. Next round, I'll be taking another shot unless we have enough people that we don't need duplicates. But just this round, I was a little bit busy on Sunday. I had a previous commitment. So I've only got one slot this time around, which is probably a good thing because it gives me a chance to get the go with the flow, be able to, what's the word? Not debrief. Do a bit of an after-action review and see how things go. And decide what I liked and what I didn't like and what I'd change and all that sort of jazz. So that's what we've got going there. If you haven't already, you can always attempt to give it a follow. I also did check and see the Twitter account does work, which is the same as this. So it's Delenn_Russell. If it tells you it can't find it, just type in the username without capital letters and it should work perfectly fine. That's always a good place to get hold of me. If you're on Dadcraft73's Discord, then can be found there. Feel free to drop me a DM or a note in any one of his channels and I will be finding it. We've also got, let's see. Yeah, so if you guys are interested, here's the info for Dadcraft's Patreon servers. I'm playing on the Java one, but he's also got a Bedrock one and a modded one. So for those of you that are into a little bit of Skyblock or maybe into Cobble Clicker or actually that might be a map, I can't recall. But anyways, there are similar ones like that. There's also Stone Block and a whole bunch of other ones. When I first got into Minecraft, I actually cut my teeth on SevTech. So that was my first experience with Minecraft, was jumping into SevTech right from square one. I hadn't even punched a tree up to that point. So it's always a good place to jump on and give a server a try, because then you've got friends around to give you a hand when things go sideways. Or if you just need a quick tip, or if you want someone to go AFK for you, usually there's some sort of server mate that's got the chance to do that sort of thing. And we all like helping each other out. So it's definitely worth a chance to take a look. There are Dadcraft has revamped his Patreon levels recently, and I thought that was kind of cool. So there's a bunch of different things that he's added on. At the higher tiers, I think it might be the $10 a month one. You have to check and see. But there's one where if you're taking part in the Million Steps Challenge, you can actually get your t-shirt for free. I thought that was kind of cool. But even so, you still get the chance to purchase the t-shirt, and I can't recall which level is at cost, but there's where you get that. But it's definitely a lot of fun in his community, which is part of why I chose to be on his servers, because there's great people hanging around at all hours of the day. So you will be seeing me on Saturday, and then outside of that, my regular stream schedule right now is usually Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from noon. Oh, let's not convert. 10 a.m. Eastern. No, 10 a.m. Mountain. Correction on that. Yeah, 10 a.m. Mountain to noon Mountain, which would be 2 hours later in Eastern time for those that want to convert. Because yeah, I'm getting a little fuzzy on that at the moment. And Tuesdays and Thursdays will remain Java Minecraft for the foreseeable future. I've got those projects in mind. But then every once in a while, like one does, people need a break. So that's part of whatever Wednesdays are for. I'm thinking what I'm probably going to do for this coming week, because I had planned yesterday to build up a bit of a farm from scratch, check out some of the newer animals in the last couple of downloadable content packs. But with being a little under the weather and such, I think I'm probably going to take a look in the workshop and see if someone's got sort of an all animals workshop or something using one of the new ones that we can take a look at together and check it out. And then after that, I'm probably going to return to the career mode I was working on before I started streaming, because I've got a lot left to do there. So yeah, it's going to be a little different, but that's what Wednesdays are for, is to give myself and anybody who chooses to drop by a bit of a change from Minecraft all the time. Minecraft style is great, I love it, but there's only so much that I can really do without going a little bit stir crazy. And sometimes when one's in between projects, streams eventually become a lot of grindy stuff that can make you sick and tired of it, if it doesn't simply make you motion sick in the first place. SevTech gave you nightmares. I'm quite curious about that, actually. I know that some of the when you get to a stage in SevTech where you need to move to other dimensions, that started really bothering me. There were creatures in some of the other ones, like the Twilight Dimension and so forth, that actually, especially the Beneath dimension. I'm not a fan of that one at all. The Beneath dimension had basically like a creepy hand that reached out and grabbed you, and one of the dimensions had something that looked a lot. I should say looked, behaved somewhat akin to early comments on what the Warden might be like in vanilla Minecraft, and they had creatures looking like various different things that I just don't really want to run into. So I got up to that point, did the absolute minimum, a lot of getting to the ceiling as quickly as possible, getting what I needed, and getting out of there, because I just really did not want to be dealing with those creatures. But I will admit, I did not actually go into creative mode. I could have. There's a few times I very seriously considered it just to get the level over with and back into the game. But I kind of lost interest in subject round about the refinery stage with oil refineries and such. Part of it was because by that point I'd watched both Dadcraft and Pigglesworth go through the Subtech game, and it appeared for them that it was a little on the grindy side, particularly when it got to the space elements. It was a lot of build this rocket, go collect, and then go kill things and collect the materials to create this next rocket, and rinse and repeat. And yeah, that there didn't really seem to be a defined end to all that rinse and repeat biz. So I just figured, well, you know, at that point I discovered regular Minecraft and was having a blast, so I figured, well, let's just go with it. Put a bit of mod, but yeah. I died a lot playing those games. Some of the modded packs I look at, and if it doesn't have some sort of gravestone marker, you're not going to catch me playing them, just because I tend to die that much. I mean, there's always the option of, you know, keep inventory settings. I've done that a couple of times, but to me that one feels a little cheaty because I don't even have to try and make it back to the grave in the first place. So, the keep inventory feature is not one that I like a whole lot. I've played that with some new players because, of course, when they're really, really new, having a death where you lose stuff, or they have a challenge just figuring out what on earth happened, then getting to the point where where you can get your stuff back is not always an option for them. So having people not lose things and have to start over when they're just learning the game is useful. But yeah, if anybody can teach one how to inherently know at all times what the directions are, particularly when you can't see the sun, or if that's actually the big one, is when you can't see the sun, because I am terrible at that. I get myself lost more often than anything else. Yeah, I don't think the Dadcraft server has a death counter on there right now, but I could be wrong. If so, my name's very solidly on there, but I think at the moment Brian might be leading, simply because some of his farms took a lot out of his character. So yeah. Okay, well, we've reached the end of today's stream. I just want to say thank you. Back of my head, the front might be helpful. We've reached the end of today's stream, and I just want to say thank you to everybody that bothered to stop by, and I'm looking forward to seeing as many of you as I can on the weekend or next week, whatever suits your schedule. I always enjoy your company. It makes it much more interesting for me, even when doing repetitive things, just to have someone else around in chat or in game. And so this actually makes it for me. I probably would be playing less if I didn't have great folks like you hanging out. So it is apparently time for me to chat with the gentleman in front of my face, and I wish you guys all a great day. Hope to see you around soon.